In this Jing video, we're going to review how to create a square wave in Mathcad. So to do that, we need to do a little bit of programming. So if I go to Help, Mathcad Help, and Programming, and then Conditional Operators. So you can see that it explains here how to create an if statement. So for instance, right here, if you had a function of x and you want it to equal 0, if the absolute value of x is greater than 2, otherwise have it equal to the square root of 4 minus x squared, you could set it up like this. So this is really, it's just a different way to create an if statement. And nice thing here is if I scroll down, I can click on Quick Sheet, and happens to have the Quick Sheet gives you some examples of Mathcad programming. So you can see that here's a square wave right here. So how is that created? Well, so based on this function right here, this fp of x equals 1 if, so this is just the regular mod function that you've used before. It takes, the first argument, divides it by the second, and then returns the remainder. So basically, and then the ceiling function, so let me just give you some examples over that. There's the ceiling and the floor. You haven't seen those before. So ceiling, if I say ceiling of 2.2 and then equals, so that's 3. So in other words, it takes whatever the argument is and moves it up to the next integer. Floor, so it's just the opposite, right? So floor of 2.2 equals 2. So it takes whatever the number is and moves it down. And of course, if we did floor of negative 2.2, that's going to be negative 3, because remember in terms of the number system, it moves it down. So negative 2.2, we move that down to the closest integer, that would be negative 3. So anyways, if we go back and look at this, so what this is doing then is it takes a ceiling of x. So for instance, if you start off and you have 0.5, for instance, so the ceiling would be 1. 1 divided by 2 is 0 with 1 remainder. So that would be true. So then it would set the function equal to 1. And that's what you can see right here. So the function is equal to 1. Otherwise, if that's not true, it would set it equal to minus 1. So for instance, once you get to 1.1, ceiling of 1.1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 0. That's not equal to 1. So then you do the otherwise. And then you also have this Sawtooth function right here, which is kind of interesting. So you have x minus floor is what this function will equal if, right, take ceiling of x. So like, for instance, again, if we had 0.5, for instance, so the ceiling would be 1. 1 divided by 2, that has a remainder of 1. That's true. So now we would have 0.5 minus floor of 0.5, which would be 0. So it would actually plot 0.5. Now once you get to 1, the ceiling of 1 is just 1, so this is true, but 1 minus floor of 1 is also 1. That would give you 0. So you'd end up with a line going down to 0 here, which you don't want. So you have this third condition, which is that it's equal to 1 if both of these are true. So this is the AND. In Mathcad, that's the AND operator. So if both of these are true, then you want it to be up here. Okay. Otherwise, and you can work out this number, then you start moving back down. So that's how you can get a sawtooth function. So anyways, this a simple square wave and a simple sawtooth. Now once you have those two things, of course, you can modify those to get the kind of frequencies and ranges that you want. And I'm going to have to stop here and pick up with the next video.